Kicking it out, Evans fakes the three, takes the two, and knocks it down. A lot of contact from Reese on Clark underneath, no whistle.
Despite what most people think, basketball beefs are something else, aren't they?
And Angel Reese knows a ring is coming.
They are like the soap operas of the sports world, full of drama, intensity, and the plot twist that leaves everyone talking.
The fact of the matter is, when Caitlyn did it, people were celebrating it, and they were talking about nothing but her greatness. But then the second a sister stepped up and threw it back in her face, now you got half the basketball world saying, well, you know what, that's not the classiest thing to do.
Yeah. Hey, what happens when it gets too far? Eventually a rivalry is created. While some see it as a classic clash of styles, others, not so much. But no matter which side of the rivalry you are on, everyone agrees to the fact that what Caitlin Clark just did to Angel Reese is absolutely insane. With tensions running high, you can bet on some fiery rivalries. And if you were thinking of some blowout, well, you have to think again. But no matter how things end, one thing's for sure, Caitlin Clark will nail those three-pointers with style. Here's how the superstar turned up a performance at the WNBA. A few weeks ago, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese just faced off in what's probably the biggest and most watched game in WNBA history. It's been one of the hottest topics lately, and these two are the superstars of women's basketball, and with their past rivalries, things were definitely personal. This game was just the beginning of many epic pro battles between them, and it did not disappoint. But because basketball requires a lot of physicality, this doesn't give the opportunity for intentional body checks. In fact, they most likely end in a foul. But as for Caitlin Clark, the plan is simple. Stay calm and let your game speak for itself. Although she played various sports, she eventually focused on basketball and was a phenom from a young age. And today, she is considered one of the greatest players in women's college basketball history, especially known for her scoring as a guard for the University of Iowa. In 2024, at just 22, she became the all-time leading scorer in NCAA basketball, breaking Pete Maravich's record of 3,667 points. As many of you know, the young star rose to national stardom last year with a record-setting March Madness performance. She became the first player in tournament history, men's or women's, to record a triple-double with 40 or more points, and she led Iowa to the national championship game against LSU. That moment carried over into 2024, with Clark surpassing current WNBA players Kelsey Plum and Pete Maravich on the scoring list, bringing her total to 3,900 career points. This includes a 41-point performance in Iowa's recent 94-87 Elite 8 victory over LSU.
Here's Clark. Clark pulls up, another deep one, is good!
Recently, it hasn't all been record-breaking games for her. A few weeks ago, her name was everywhere, and this time it was not about her game performance, but because of the level of physicality she has been facing during her rookie WNBA season. This has been a hot topic of discussion, and even Caitlin is aware of how much heat she is getting. Now, it's no surprise she was the #1 overall pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, selected by the Indiana Fever. But this time, Caitlin had more than Angel to contend with. Camila Cardoso, who crushed Iowa in the championship game, also made her WNBA debut. The Chicago Sky, the clear favorites with a 3-3 record, went up against the struggling 1-8 Fever. But you already know what happens next. Clark picks up a deep three. They kick it to the corner. Caitlin rushes out to contest. The shot goes up and it's missed, but guess who's there on the glass? Angel Reese out-hustles Nalissa Smith, steps through, and lays it up for her first points of the game. Meanwhile, Chicago made it tough for the Fever defensively, with the Fever starting just 1 for 5 from 3, so they kept it simple the rest of the game. However, Caitlin Clark was looking like she was still at Iowa and ended up throwing an outlet pass over the defense to Kirstie Wallace, who finishes and gets fouled and one. That play really shows how much Caitlin Clark has improved since joining the WNBA. In college, she always favored the three ball going left, but now she is getting more comfortable going right, making her even tougher to guard on the perimeter. One thing that hasn't changed from Iowa to Indiana is her impressive assist number. But even though Cardozo may be a rookie, she looks like she has been in the WNBA forever, grabbing several rebounds in the opening minutes and scoring off the pick and roll. And even as Clark and Boston were doing their best to compete with her down low, you can't guard 6'8" Cardozo forever. Earlier in the third quarter, Clark was wrestled to the floor on a drive. At first, it seemed like a one-off incident, but on the very next possession, as she drove downhill, Cardozo stepped in and clipped her. Clark was in pain and limped to the bench, sitting out for the first time in the game. These plays didn't seem deliberate individually, but the fact that they kept happening suggested foul play.
Third in the voting last season. Clark, hammer. Three Sky players coming over. Now the official is pointing to his head here.
But here's the moment that got everyone talking.
Mabry doubled off to Carter. Her jumper is good. Kennedy Carter now with 12 points off the bench.
As you have seen in the video, Caitlin received an unwarranted hip check from a Sky player. Late in the third quarter, Sky guard Kennedy Carter knocks down a mid-range jumper and then, completely unprovoked, bodies Caitlin Clark from behind with a low elbow to the hip. Clark never touched the ball, but Carter delivered a shoulder check that knocked her to the floor. With 15 seconds left in the third quarter, Carter seemingly came out of nowhere and did this for no apparent reason. And on the other hand, no explanation was given. Now, it seems like to me like a 100% deliberate action, but the refs only called a standard foul away from the ball. No flagrant, no technical. Replays of the incident quickly surfaced on social media, and in no time, Clark went to the free throw line and spoke to ESPN after the quarter ended.
It is what it is, you know. I feel like I'm just at the point where you accept it and don't retaliate. Like, you know, just let them hit you, be what it is. Don't let it get inside your head and know it's coming. I think at this point, like, I know I'm going to take a couple hard shots a game, and that's what it is. Just stay in the game is saying what's.
But to our greatest shock, Carter unapologetically said this.
I ain't answering no Caitlin Clark questions.
At this point, the WNBA needs to start officiating these games properly, especially when it comes to Caitlin Clark. Now more than ever, Caitlin Clark is a central figure in the basketball world following Kennedy Carter's blindsided flagrant foul on the WNBA's #1 overall pick. Discussions on this incident are reaching new heights, with even prominent figures from the basketball community weighing in. Even her coach, Christie, was completely annoyed with the incident.
We're just going to keep sending these possessions to the league and these plays, and hopefully they'll start, you know, taking a better look at some of the things that we see happening or we think is happening. You know, it's tough, you know, to keep getting hammered the way she does and to not get rewarded with free throws or, you know, just a foul call. Like, she's continuing to fight through that.
Nancy Lieberman, a former basketball player and coach, commented on what she would have done in Clark's shoe.
If I were Caitlin Clark, I would have punched her in the face. But I'm from New York, and I would have told her to fuck off.
Yeah.
And that would actually cure the problem.
Lieberman, who has known Kennedy since high school in Dallas, acknowledged her toughness but criticized the physical play. Meanwhile, Indiana Fever legend Tamika Catchings criticized the WNBA's handling of the incident in an interview with USA Today. She called Carter's foul a cheap shot and emphasized the league's responsibility to protect its players. As you'd least expect, this sentiment is shared by athletes beyond basketball. Even tennis legend Martina Navratilova has also voiced her support for Clark, urging WNBA players to show her more respect than they currently are. What do you think should be done to protect players from potential injuries in a highly physical game environment? We'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section. Also, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to this channel. And thanks for watching.